Today we're going to read Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And we're going to talk about cause and effect. Here we go. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard. And by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible,
no good, very bad day.
So, because Alexander went to sleep with gum in his mouth, what happened? Graham?
He got gum in his hair. And
He-
it just sounds like he should clean up his room.
It does.
And then turn off the sink when he's done with it. And then not
Exactly.
go to sleep with gum in the
So, because Alexander went to sleep with gum in his mouth, what happened was he got gum in his hair. Let's keep going, see what happens. If something happens, there's always going to be an effect or something that happens because of that, right? Page number 2. Here we go. We're not going to do all the pages, by the way. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box, and Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I got was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool line, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I am going to be car sick. And no one even answered me. So Alexander didn't get a window seat in the car. So what happened because of that? He didn't get a window seat. He said he might get car sick, but he was scrunched in the back seat. So because Alexander didn't get a window seat in the car, he was scrunched in the back seat. Poor guy, he's having a rough day.
He could look at the back or the front window.
He could, that would be a good idea. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Poor guy. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend and that Albert Moyo was his next best friend and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone and lands in Australia. So because Philip said Alexander was his third best friend, what did Alexander say to Philip? Everybody. I hope you sit on a tack. So because Philip said Alexander was only his third best friend, not his first best friend, Alexander said, well, I hope you sit on a tack, right? Cause and effect. Because you told me I wasn't your first best friend, I'm going to tell you, I hope you sit on a tack. Is that nice?
No.
All right, here we go. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on the top. Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, Very bad. So, because Alexander's mother forgot to put dessert in his lunch, what happened? Because his mom forgot to put dessert in his lunchbox, what happened, Maddox?
He was getting sad.
He was sad and he didn't have any, right?
Yep.
So because Alexander's mother forgot to put dessert in his lunchbox, Alexander didn't have any dessert for lunch. Yes, sir.
Who even needs dessert? You don't need dessert all the time.
Not all the time, but it probably would have been nice when all of his friends were eating dessert.
Well, yeah,
Once a day.
that would be kind of mean. Like when my mom forgets.
Miles.
And speaking of staying on tax, I was at my cousin's house once, and his brother did a prank on him, and then he sat on a tack.
That's not fun. That's
Yeah,
horrible.
And then I was trying to sweep because I was trying to take
Mhm.
a nap, and then I heard him scream. I was like,
And he sat on a tack.
yeah.
That was
and then I
probably
went
very painful.
downstairs, And then he was crying. I was like,
Okay, here we go. It was a terrible. That's what it was, because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist. And Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I am going to Australia. So our last cause and effect. Because Alexander has a cavity, what does he have to do? No, he wants to go to Australia. What is he supposed to do?
Stay there and get that tooth moved.
Come back next week. So because Alexander has a cavity, the effect is what he has to do is go back to the dentist next week. Good job.